Minecraft is a world full of different interesting blocks, and many of them have some hidden uses and secrets that you might not have known about. Today, we're going to be looking at 13 actually useful Minecraft block facts that can really improve your experience and quality of life. Let's get straight into it. Although Minecraft sponges are rare, they are the best block for clearing out water to maybe either make space for a build or to efficiently raid an ocean monument if you use them right. They do have one slight problem though, and that is whenever you use them to clear out water, the sponge will soak up and become wet. In this state, it's basically useless, and you're going to have to put it in a furnace. This will dry it and make it usable again. However, this takes way too long. It also uses extra resources since you're gonna need some fuel for the furnace to dry the sponge. So instead of doing that, you can just go to the Nether with all of your wet sponges and place them down one by one anywhere in the dimension. Due to how hot the Nether is, this will instantly dry all of them and is so much faster and more convenient. If you play in a Minecraft multiplayer server, there might be a chance that you have run into a classic tripwire trap before. It's super easy to make, they're small and difficult to see, and they also have a hidden troll, where if you try to break the tripwire, that actually still activates the trap anyway. You might think this means there's no way to get around a tripwire unless you jump or get around it somehow, but there actually is. Tripwires will only activate if you break them using your bare fists. If you break a tripwire with a shear instead, you will be able to clear a path for yourself and not activate the trap at the same time. This fact might not be a tip you use every single day, but trust me, it's useful information that you definitely want to keep in the back of your head. Fall damage is one of the most annoying things in Minecraft, and while you can use protection and feather falling armor to largely prevent this issue, early game, your only option for saving yourself is really using a water bucket. This does require some skill to do though, and you can't do this in the Nether either since you can't actually place water there. But in these situations is where a really underrated block can come in handy, and that is powdered snow. If you didn't know, powdered snow prevents you from taking fall damage entirely, and you can put it in a bucket as well to place it down whenever and wherever you want. This means you can use powdered snow to stop fall damage in both the overworld and the Nether, and the timing is much easier to hit because of the way the snow slows you down before you hit the ground. So that is an amazing hidden use of a seemingly useless block. Cheap trades from Minecraft villagers is something that many players desire, and the main method used to get these is by zombifying the villager on hard difficulty and then curing them with a weakness potion and golden apple. After some time, the villager will give you crazy discounts for pretty much forever. And while this method is great, curing the villager takes a long time. I mean a long time. This can become annoying, especially if you're trying to cure multiple villagers in a row. But did you know that you can use 2 blocks, beds and iron bars to help with this? You don't need that many, and placing them down near the villager while they're curing will actually speed up the process. So next time you're trying to get some cheaper trades, make sure to remember this little piece of information. Bastions are one of the best Minecraft structures in the game. You can acquire all sorts of valuable loot from their chests, including diamonds and netherite. And on top of that, they have a ton of gold blocks all over the place as well. But bastions also have a few secrets that the average player might not know about. One example of this is the snout block, also known as chiseled polished blackstone. These are scattered throughout the bastion's tunnels, and they just look like a regular part of the structure's design at first glance. It would be very easy for someone to just pass right by it without paying attention. However, that's a big mistake, because if you dig behind these blocks, you can actually find hidden gold blocks under, and not just 1 or 2, but sometimes entire piles of gold underneath, meaning that bastions actually have a lot more gold than you might think, and you could be missing out on a lot of it. Minecraft definitely has its fair share of secret blocks, most of which can only be acquired in creative mode or with commands. And while I definitely still haven't figured out what most of these are and what they do at all, there is one secret block that I and I think you guys will find incredibly useful. Have you ever wanted to light up a large area in creative mode, or just put light in any spot at all? Well then stop using torches or lanterns, you should be using light blocks. These are literally invisible sources of light, and you have full customization over the light level it emits as well. Just input in this simple command in Java or Bedrock, and you can get as many of these as you want. Most of the community doesn't know about these, and they are so convenient. The Deep Dark is one of the most interesting biomes in Minecraft, and while many people like to focus on the more popular aspects of it, like ancient cities and the Warden, not many focus on some of the amazing blocks that it has. And I'm not talking about Sculk sensors or anything else you might be thinking. I'm talking about plain old regular Sculk. Nobody really pays attention to it, despite the fact that it covers the vast majority of the biome. But did you know that breaking Sculk blocks can actually give you XP? Sure, it might not be a lot, but like I said, there is a ton of it in the Deep Dark, and you can use a hoe to break it almost instantly, meaning you can turn the entire Deep Dark into basically a free XP farm without having to go through the trouble of actually building one. That is pretty awesome. This next fact isn't about a specific block itself, but just about the majority of blocks in general. They make great barriers whenever you're in combat or in a dangerous situation, and one great example of this is with creepers. Did you know that you can completely negate all the damage from a charged creeper's explosion by just placing a block in between you and the creeper before it blows up? Keep in mind, this is a charged creeper we're talking about. 48 hearts of damage in a single hit with a crazy explosion radius, and all it takes is one singular block to stop it. And this same trick goes even for TNT and other explosions like end crystals. You just need any one block in between you and the explosion, and you're completely safe. Always carry some blocks around with you when exploring. One of the worst sights that could ever grace your eyes in Minecraft is bare dirt next to a bunch of grass blocks. Maybe a creeper blew up and you had to patch up the hole, or maybe you did some terraforming and either placed or removed a bunch of dirt. Either way, unless you have a bunch of grass blocks on hand, you're gonna have to deal with this eyesore until the grass spreads, which can sometimes take really long. But don't worry, because there's a way to actually speed up the process of grass spreading, and it's really simple. The spreading actually speeds up the higher the light level is. So you want to make sure to have light sources around the area you want the grass to spread, especially if you're trying to spread grass in the Nether or End, since there is zero skylight to help you in those dimensions. And while we're speeding up that process, why don't we also speed up the process of growing crops? Crops are one of the most important blocks in Minecraft, since they're a food source for many players, on top of other things like animal farms. Now, of course, if you have enough in stock, bone meal works tremendously to help crops grow faster, but what if you want them to grow faster naturally without having to step on your farm at all to do so? Well, you can actually use bees to help you here. When bees come into contact with the crops in your farm, that speeds up their growth, and all you need is just one beehive near your farm to have multiple bees doing the work for you at the same time. It costs absolutely nothing to do either, unlike something like a bone meal. Chests are the most useful block for storage in Minecraft. One chest gives you 27 slots, and you can even connect two chests together to make a double chest with twice the number of slots. But when I'm building a storage system, and especially if I'm trying to make it organized and compact, double chests aren't really that helpful. I would much rather have a bunch of single chests next to each other, because it would be much easier to organize and I could store a higher variety of items. The only problem is you can't place two single chests next to each other without making it double, or at least that's what you think. If you sneak and place two single chests next to each other, they won't connect. This gives you much more control over your storage system and is much better than trying to use trapped variations or some wizardry like that. And if you're a person who dies a lot from water and lava, nothing to be embarrassed about there. It's a very common death that happens to a lot of players. Doors, weirdly, can block out both water on Minecraft Java Edition and lava, so you don't actually need fire resistance or water breathing potions, even though those two are still super helpful. You can use doors if you ever need to breathe underwater, because it'll straight up just create an air pocket which you can use to refill your bubbles, and if you ever get caught caught inside a lava pool, you can use a door to create a little space for yourself away from the lava to eat and recover. If you guys did enjoy this video, then please consider dropping a like and a sub, and as always, I will see you in the next one. Goodbye.